Now your forecast first, sponsored by the CI Proud to Go mobile app. When the lights go out, we're still on.
Good evening, I'm your local weather authority, Chief Meteorologist Chris Yates. Still dealing with some cloud cover and blustery conditions in parts of central Illinois, but it is a chilly one. 41 degrees in the Twin Cities. Nice looking view in uptown Normal on our sundown exteriors camera. Officially 41 degrees out there. Hard to make out, but there are still low clouds interacting with much of central Illinois. Currently, those clouds, for now, keeping temperatures in check. But as the clouds move out, the temperatures will drop. Dropping into the mid-30s by 5 a.m. Wind chills could be as low as 28 degrees by sunrise. Looks like we're going to be in for a pretty chilly weekend and a blustery one at that. We'll have that forecast coming up. Wyzz News at 9 starts now.
They did a great job. I've already sent out the emails. Chief has sent out the emails. They did. It was textbook. They did everything exactly right.
Tonight at 9, a house fire gave some first responders a bit of a fit today. Why now it's being looked at as arson. Also, men and women in blue and pink. The campaign by a local police department that's bringing awareness to breast cancer. And adopting a graduated income tax, a new survey reveals the amount of Illinoisans in favor of changing the way things are done. But first, a person has died after being hit by a car tonight in Peoria. It tops our 9 at 9 tonight. As always, we thank you for joining us. I'm Eugene Daniel. Officers along that way say that they were called to Glen Avenue near Sheridan and Knoxville around 7:30 tonight. Peoria County Coroner Jamie Harwood was called to that scene. At this time, we don't have a name of the victim or exactly what happened, if that person was walking, etc. We're trying to get that information for you. We'll continue to update that story on our website, ciproud.com. In the midst of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, health professionals are shining light on the preventative steps that you can take to live a longer and healthier life. WYZC's Treasure Roberts has been taking these steps for herself and joins us now with what you can do. Treasure.
So many lives have been taken by this invasive disease. Sadly, I've lost too many family members to cancer, and now I'm doing what it takes to make sure I'm not next. Medical professionals say learning your family history and taking immediate action can save your life. 7 years ago, Katie Parker's life changed forever.
You hear all kinds of conflicting information about, well, cancer doesn't hurt. I'm sorry, but mine did.
3 weeks after she first experienced symptoms, she was diagnosed with breast cancer.
My grandmother was a breast cancer survivor, so the next thing that was recommended after my diagnosis was to do genetic testing.
Genetic testing can reduce discomfort, anxiety, or validate your concerns. With an informative presentation,
you can see they talk about hereditary cancer. They really spell it out.
And a simple blood test, you can find out if you are at risk before it's too late. Dr. Dana Goff with the Corey Gynecology Center says it puts you in control.
If we can catch cancer at an early stage, then the medications work better, and intervention works better, and we get cancer before it spreads to other systems.
What is great about genetic testing is that not only does it arm us with ammunition and help us to make treatment decisions, but it's also become more affordable.
My mom died of breast cancer 11 years ago, and I wanted to know if I too was at risk. So I decided to get genetic testing. Now, these results showed me that I had 3 mutated genes, along with my remaining lifetime and 5-year risk of developing breast cancer.
It's something we want everybody to know about, and to have a conversation and know your family history, then talk to your doctors.
I actually texted my sister today to tell her you need to get genetic testing.
Scary to some, but helpful nonetheless. Getting mammograms is another way to know your status.
People to get in on a regular basis and get their screenings. The earlier that you can detect a cancer, the better chance you have of dealing with it. The longer that cancer is left untreated, the greater the risk of poor outcome.
The best thing you can do is be your own advocate. Get that mammogram. Talk to your doctors. Genetic testing could be your saving grace. To find out where you can get free mammogram services, head to ciproud.com.
All right, Treasure. Meanwhile, the Peoria Police Department is recognizing Breast Cancer Awareness Month. All month long, employees will wear pink T-shirts that they purchase for $10. Chief Marion is also allowing officers to wear the shirt under their uniforms.
Number one, pink is great. Everybody looks good in pink, right? But secondly, it's great. It feels good to be able to literally wear a color to support a cause.
The money raised from T-shirt shells will be going to breast cancer research. Well, the mother of a 9-year-old boy charged with murder is no longer allowed to talk about the case. Sources tell WYZZ that Katie Allwood is now under a gag order. By whose demand, though, is still unclear. We do know that she was at the Woodford County Courthouse this afternoon with her attorney. This comes less than 48 hours after Allwood sat down with CBS News to talk about the charges against her 9-year-old son. Kyle Allwood is accused of starting a fire that burned 5 of his family members to death while they were sleeping in a Goodfield mobile home. 6 months later, that boy now faces 5 counts of murder, 1 for each person who died, and aggravated arson charges. His mom was the only other survivor, and the victims, her 2 other children, grandmother, fiance, and niece. In all that, the tell-all interview with CBS, Allwood defended her son, saying he is not a monster, but a child who is grappling with mental illness. And Kyle is due in court on the 21st. Katie has also been subpoenaed to appear that day. Well, Peoria firefighters say they had trouble putting out a house fire early this morning. Crews arrived at the 700 block of Northeast Madison, and at first they couldn't get into the abandoned home, and once they were able to get in, a water hose broke, forcing firefighters to bring in a backup water line. Chief James Bachman says his team got the job done without anybody getting hurt.
Scheme of things, this was pretty quick. We don't like to have this happen, but it is something we train for and plan for, so we understand that you know, this is a real possibility at any fire that we encounter.
That fire, by the way, is now being investigated as an arson. The home was unoccupied. Well, not your everyday Friday for downtown Bloomington businesses. An underground transformer caught fire, and that caused all of downtown to lose power. The Bloomington Fire Department and Ameren responded around 9 o'clock this morning, but because it was an electrical issue, they couldn't attack the flames with water. Local business owners say today has been interesting, to say the least.
3 calls came in for smoke and fire. We weren't sure where it was coming from. Just kind of seemed like it was coming from a vent in the sidewalk. They weren't sure if it was Beck's basement or, which we later found out it was a transistor.
We actually heard a pop, and the electricity went off for 2 or 3 seconds and came right back on. Didn't know what it was, and then probably 2 minutes, there's a fire station a block away, and about 2 minutes later, the fire trucks all were coming down here.
One of those firefighters had minor injuries and was taken to Advocate Broman. Power was restored before 2:15 this afternoon. The University of Illinois Springfield released the second part of its Illinois Issue Survey. This time, the findings showing that most people are in favor in the state adopting a graduated income tax. Illinois voters are a little more than a year away from voting to amend the state Constitution and replace the current flat tax, with the graduated income tax. The survey shows that 67% of the 1,000 voters they polled around the state support that graduated income tax, and only 57% of survey takers supported the proposal this time last year. Recreational marijuana is legal come January 1st. So what does this mean for employers with zero tolerance policies? Experts gathered at OSF St. Francis to talk about the issue, and occupational health leaders say while there is a way to test if someone is intoxicated by alcohol, there's no reliable way to measure for marijuana.
The chemical that we test for is THC, and it is the only drug that's stored in fat cells that we test for. So the length of time that it's in your system is not a blood test level. So you could test high today from use from who knows how long ago, weeks, months. And it depends greatly on the frequency and the amount of use.
He says monitoring for marijuana impairment in an employee may need to be less scientific and more observational, though it may be risky and has yet to be challenged in court. A 3D scanned replica of Neil Armstrong's Apollo 11 spacesuit is now at the Peoria Riverfront Museum. The suit was replicated by the Smithsonian, and to explore the history of this exhibit, and where to find the spacesuit has been, just download our app, CI Proud to Go, and click on the Digital Originals tab. We can check in now with Chief Meteorologist Chris Yates. Chris, you and I have kind of talked about this. This seems like an exhibit right up your alley.
Absolutely. Anything science related, I'm definitely all aboard. But that's pretty cool that they can even just 3D print that stuff nowadays. Quite crazy. All right, temperatures today. If you were up very early this morning, say around 1 o'clock, you had high temperatures close to this, near 70 in many parts of central Illinois. But of course, that all changed as a strong cold front marched across central Illinois, bringing in a big October chill. So this is a timestamp at midnight, but watch what happens as we fast forward. 4 o'clock, here comes the cold front. It's already through Galesburg. Jump ahead a little bit further. Notice how quickly the temperature dropped in less than 2 hours. We went from the upper 60s into the upper 40s, and then the cold front continued to march its way eastward. Temperatures spent most of the day into the 40s, and as of now, we're sitting in the low 40s with a few upper 30s sprinkled in. Skies partly cloudy for the time being, but those clouds are going to be moving out before too long. Our cold front now is long gone. Once the clouds clear, they'll leave us with great weather for the upcoming weekend. Of course, you can get this forecast anytime and anywhere. Just check out our CI Proud to Go mobile app. Here's what to expect. Some gusty winds tomorrow. Otherwise comfortable with temperatures in the lower to mid 50s with a lot of sunshine, but the wind is going to be the big issue. I will have more on that all coming up in just a little bit. Eugene?
All right, Chris, coming up, on your mark, get set, go. Event organizers are preparing for runners to take off in the Whiskey Daddle races this weekend. And the Day of Giving, Washington students are spending the day doing multiple service projects around the community. We'll share with you where they're doing that. And tonight's Peoria High football is special because the team is building relationships with local police officers through the sport. Kurt Pegler explains later in sports.
Watching WYZZ News at 9 with Eugene Daniel, Chief Meteorologist Chris Yates with your local Weather Authority forecast, and Kurt Pegler with sports. This is WYZZ News at 9.